Okay guys, we're back with another StarCraft 2 Silver League game. Here with a pretty good example of what not to do. This game did not end well for me at all. So we're gonna go ahead and meet the competitors, shall we? I've got me here in the blue corner playing the Zerg, and then we got Kafos in the red corner playing as Terran. It's definitely a ZvT match, so you know I've got to be wary of that. I've got to produce fast. I've got to make sure that I take out his main army, blah 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 blah, and all that stuff. And I'm sticking with the same kind of sort of pattern that you've seen here in the past from games from me, where I am sticking with my same basic unit order and production and stuff like that. A lot more units at the moment, but really that's just because of supply. Right now, we're pretty much tied in supply. He's got his 11, he's got 10, but then there goes my Overlord, and that comes out and saves the day. So, already looking at no army, a little bit more supply on my side, but it's nothing to scoff at. We're basically even this early on. Wow, okay. I'm not very good at this whole pressing buttons thing, apparently. So, taking a look at his base, he's already working on this first barracks, and he's using that to block off his ramp, which does not bode well for me trying to get anything in there. Meanwhile, I've already got my pool almost done here, and we're pretty good, coming close to saturation. I've got 14 supply. I'm working on both of my double gas here, and I've already got my hatchery started as well. Generally, you want to do the hatchery first against Terran. You want to go hatch, pull, gas. But you know what? It's Silver League. What do I care? So he's finished his wall off over here, and his SCV is stuck behind it because apparently he's forgotten how to lower that. But he's also got his mule down, so he's got orbital command, which means he's about to start pumping out some fun times. Moves his barracks out of the way to get his reactor going. That way he's going to be pumping out a lot more Marines a lot faster, and he's working on his factory now with one gas. One gas to my 2, but one of mine isn't manned, so I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. But I do have Queen out here, and I've begun production here, I think. I'm not really sure, but already stacking pretty even here. We stay pretty even for most of the match, actually, I think, if memory serves here. However, I have already lost a unit, and that makes me a sad panda from one of his scouts. But Queen starts setting up creep here. Creep spread, I do a little bit better about creep spread this time, believe it or not. I was actually paying attention to it most of this time. Got me a couple lings out. I just have those set up so that I can get these 2 points here. This guy is bad news for you, sir. Okay, so he's moving a second command center over into his natural at this point, and he's already working on another on his starport. So he's going center 111. This is pretty much how you'll see Terran play all the way up the ladder. All the way up the ladder. But he's also maintaining his supply. See here, 54. He's ahead of me in supply right now. His army's bigger, his workers' supply is bigger. He's definitely a lot faster than me. Even so far as APM, even though my current APM will peak really high, much higher than his, he basically maintains pretty solid APM through the whole shenanigans involved there. So let's take a look at his view real quick. He knows both of my bases are there. He's already got his scouts coming in. He's dropping in some units for harass. Throw in a widow mine. Boom. Never found. It's a very excellent plan. He basically kept me on my knees the whole time. He came in, got rid of all my workers. I did what I could to stop it, but there was no stopping it at that point, and he just steadily pounds away with these widow mines. So let's take a look at my view here. I clearly know that that is there. Clearly, and yet I just sit there and let it pump away. There's a tip for you. Don't do that. If you see the mine, get rid of it. It's not gonna... It's not your friend. See, it just keeps pounding away. On the plus side, I did start working on some spore crawlers, so I've basically fended off his air, and I've got this one here. But I'm starting with my standard roach build here. I'm trying to get everything set up. I've got my dual upgrades here, although one is not upgrading for some reason, probably because I'm either supply capped or something, or I haven't got the minerals. On the plus side, I do manage to kind of salvage some of this worker supply. I'm down to 16 versus his 50, so that's game right there. That's already game. There's very little you can do at this point to win any of it back. However, I do have the superior army, despite the fact that I basically am producing nothing. So let's go back to the everybody view here and see how much he has blown up and how fast he is going. Look at his supply, 129 to my 60. He is paying attention. He's continuously training his SCVs in both of his bases. He's got factory, 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 armory, engineering bay, armory, barracks, sending out Thors now. And he got a starport for his medevacs, which did no good for me at all. He's also got his third base getting ready to set down over here. But slight confrontation, nobody decides to do any kind of macro because I got instantly slaughtered and just booked my 2 roaches out of there. He follows me, naturally. Of course he follows me. But he stops here for some reason, not quite sure why. Meanwhile, creep steadily spreading, slowly but surely. I'm kind of trying to work my way up towards his base, but there's not really too much that can be done at that point. Meanwhile, he's massing this medevac get-together is what this kind of looks like. He's got like 4 Marines and and a Thor just kind of chilling over here, and an SCV for some reason. I guess that's his little early warning. Hitting my injects as best I can. Got my lair up over here a while ago, and Baneling because I need to bust through some of his stuff. So, at this point I'm just trying to make anything and everything that I can to counteract this. Army supply, way out favored. Worker supply, also way out favored. As you can see, he's floating a lot of resources. I'm still spending everything I got, but part of that is really me just not having the workers. I have 44 to his 84, so that's not really doing me any good. And look at the massive amount of resources and units I've already lost, all because I never bothered to take care of this mine over here until it was far, far too late. So Hydralis Dingo's up to try and counter off some of his medevacs. Not as big a help as you might think it would be, but looking from his point of view, look, he's got a 4th base, and there's that planetary fortress. He's got orbital command on all the rest of his. Smart move. You basically don't ever want to put planetary fortress up here, and you see that a lot in some of the lower level games, but he just has the production now to blow me sky high, and I don't know any of that. So, steadily trying to build up a counter-offensive here. Not really working. I am pushing slightly into his favor, but he can outproduce the crap out of me, even though he is not for some reason. He's training 1 Hellbat, and he's getting his +2 armor going for his machines. Now, I did manage to do some damage here, but it was you know, too little too late. You know, he brings in some more units. I managed to take down his medevacs carrying his stores before they had a chance to land, and tried to get my way over here through these tanks, but they just tore me to shreds, and I didn't have the common decency to pull my armies out. So basically, whatever I did have left, not doing much good for me at this point. Tides are heavily turned in his favor. I have, however, evened out the resource loss in my favor, but the unit loss, ridiculous. Plus, look at all of his magical income, and now we're both kind of sitting on these units, though his is obviously much more useful than mine with that 90 army supply, or worker supply, and 4 mules bringing in the massive income here. He, I've, we're both kind of teching up right now. We're both kind of working on research, but it's basically pointless for me at this point because he's at full supply here. I'm basically at nothing. And let's just watch as this meter drops. Goodbye forever, whatever army that I did have. Goodbye forever, any chances of winning this match. Goodbye forever, any kind of dignity that I might have walked away with, because this match is over. Because even if I had fended that off, more Thors incoming. Base, 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 base. Let the base cannon kick it, he says, as he comes and mops up. Now, I did kind of try and... I basically let that one go. I let that die, and I started focusing on everything over here, move my production more towards things that I could, theoretically defend with. However, the resource loss and the unit loss jumps through the roof as I am reduced to nothing. And that was that match. So this is a really good example of what not to do in a game, guys. Hats off to you, Kafas. You're a very good Silver League player, and I hope to see you around some more in the future. You guys can actually send me replays, enochian.edm at gmail.com. I'll put the email address in the description of the video, and I would love to cast your replays. So go ahead, send me what you got, and I'll see you next time.